And yeah, let's see what the fuck Efap even has to say about this, because this is just base takes. Hey guys, I need you to do me a favor. Help me fight the algorithm. Go ahead and hit like, hit that subscribe button, and hit that bell icon for new notifications. Thank you. Alright, we obviously aren't going to watch this whole thing, but we can get like an intro. And Efap number 274, the assassination of Chris Stuckmann by the coward Chris Stuckmann. Now, Efap fans like to make a big fucking deal about being good faith. Like, I'm like the worst person ever, apparently, because I'm bad faith. Now, when you look at a stream called The Assassination of Chris Stuckmann by the coward Chris Stuckmann, does that indicate to you that they're going into this with good faith or bad faith? I'll let you think about that one. And I'll be blunt, I'm going into this with bad faith, because these guys are assholes. So, let's see. We got I don't know who Gene Cisco Glowy Eyes are, but we of course got Fringy, Homelander face, apparently, Mauler, Nerdrotic, Rags.
Yay!
What?
Yay!
Christopher Stuckmann. So we meet again.
Imagine his name was
Our fates are
S.
intertwined.
Tuckman. Like his middle name was, Steven, and then his name was Tuckman, and he was like, what if I took the S and put it onto the Tuckman, and it becomes Stuckman? What does Stuckman make you think of? That he's stuck?
Yeah.
He's kind of stuck.
I don't know that it makes me think of anything, honestly.
There's got to be something thematically valuable about his name. You know, Chris is a very uncommon name. It makes you think of all kinds of things, right? Who's called Chris?
There was a comment
Nobody.
on the that montage I made of his thumbnail faces. Someone said his face is stuck, man, and I wish I had thought of that.
Oh.
Yeah.
Definitely stuck.
Why did you put a copyright song on that video, you fool? People can't watch it on video randomly on streams.
It was the perfect song.
This intro is why they do, like, 12-hour stream. Like, what is even this? I want to see how they're going to introduce us to the video, because that tells us a lot about, like, what they're doing, but the fuck?
You know, there's nothing that could be done about it.
You know
It's
what?
just-
I appreciate
Muse has
that.
told me.
The art comes first. You're not a producer or anything, are you? You're more of a creative.
Yeah. I'm not one of those suits
Gross.
trying to tell
Never
artists
worn a
what to do.
suit, ever.
Yeah, have you want to see it?
No, because that would mean I'm not creative.
Ugh. Well, we should probably just go ahead and start getting into this wacky bonus Efap, because already people are like, what is happening here? And it's like, yeah, bet you didn't expect to see Efap on a Wednesday. That's where we are, right?
It's hump day.
It's going to be crazy, man. Wednesday Efaps, you never know what's going to happen if ever they pop up. It probably means that something happened, something weird and wacky, and that we wanted to cover it. And you know what? That kind of does cover it. We do, and we'll definitely be talking about something wild and wacky, with a guest set that will change, probably, as we talk about it. But if you're in the world of film, you likely would have heard about something that happened recently, a rumbling. And that rumbling comes in the form of Jay Longbone upsetting everybody. What's wrong with you?
Oh, Jay, I can't believe
Rude.
you've done this. I can't believe you've done this.
There's opinions you're allowed to have, and then there's what you say. And that's just too much. And, when I saw, God, he's so annoying on Twitter, I was like, someone needs to send him messages that involve threatening her life, Like, that needs to happen. What's funny is that'll be in here as well, and that'll just go to show anybody who's curious, like, yeah, we get death threats a lot from saying people are annoying. It happens. That's the internet.
Yeah.
It's just other people can sort of use that to their advantage. Do you remember when fucking Patrick Williams tweeted out someone talking about wanting to kill him, I think, and they ended it with, they were from the Mauler army? I was like, what the fuck?
Oh, I think I know what you're talking about. Yeah, that was almost certain.
Is that like Dumbledore's army?
I was just like,
Wow. You guys have a toxic fan base. And, you shouldn't send death threats to these guys, but, yeah.
have I ever called you guys the
Dumbledore's
Mauler
army.
army? What the hell?
Mauler army, assemble.
I thought they were going to get to the video.
Yeah, that was one of those ones where it's like, hello, fellow Mauler armites. Here I am to fight the war. Yeah, that's what we do. Oh, Mauler army rise up indeed. But yeah, what we're doing here today is we're checking out the origin of this gigantic war and all the players involved, all the opinions you could possibly have, while sharing some of our own. You'd never guess. It starts with a Chris Stuckmann video. Isn't that fucking crazy?
No, nothing's crazy. This is all just so.
Yeah. Oh, all right, geez. I was going to say, like, I feel like it's a bit of a crazy thing to have happen because just nothing usually comes of what he says.
That's a good point, actually. You're right. You're
Yep.
right, because usually the videos are so dull that there's nothing to fight about.
I don't even see his stuff getting shared, ever. Like, not in the sense of, oh, you gotta check out the new song video, but just in the sense of, oh, yeah, Chris like, highlighted this about this.
Ooh, are there chapters in the comments? Video starts at 10. Oh, wait, 16? Okay, we will go to Stuckmann's statement, I guess.
Based off of what I've heard, since I do try to keep it mostly about film celebration on this channel. Having seen...
Oh, what does that mean?
What a
Wait,
statement.
wait.
I'm
know
going to
there's-
celebrate.
Did you know that you could say a lot of things by the things you do not say? It is a very
This
interesting
is-
quirk of the human condition that I've discovered
Do you love
in my
that-
years on this planet.
That is absolutely the thing we need to set as the foundation for this whole stream is how much can be said by not saying certain things. It's just...
I've been trying to keep the vibe at the Stuckmann household positive and non-alcoholic, so Tiffany will not be joining us for New Year's. And
The fuck?
just wanted to say, I'm not saying anything about anything.
Yeah, so this we will get to the portion with Twitter eventually, but we're gonna watch the video first, and that's what this is. And so, yes, when someone says to you, "I'm not going to talk about Madame Web because of from what I've heard, and because this is about film celebration," you're like, "Wow, how
Yeah.
bad was it? Jesus!"
What are you implying? What are you implying, man?
The funny thing is, it's like
Yeah, he was implying it was very bad. My god, you're acting like this is like some sort of deeper meaning, like he didn't say it was bad. The implication was that he thought it was very bad. Can we get to actually what he says? Like, my god.
even in a parody sense, I feel like I could come up with a 5-minute video, maybe even 10 minutes praising Madame Web.
You could do it. You could give it a try, yeah.
But he doesn't want to do that. My god, are they actually gonna, like, address any points?
Yeah, you could throw some stuff in.
Cinema wins.
And
Do that.
I could talk
Yes,
about Sydney
exactly.
Sweetie's tits for 10 minutes.
Good God, I can't wait to see Cinema Wins try to...
Wow. Gary, classy take. Oh, it looks like we got Chris Gore in here now? Jesus.
make use of Madame Web. That we'll have to wait a while for that one.
He'll avoid that one. He won't do it.
Yeah, that was a difficult one.
Did he do
isn't
one
it?
for Morbius? Did he do one for Morbius?
That's a good question. I shall discover the truth.
Because if he didn't
on
do one
that.
for Morbius, my guess would be that he would not do one for Madame Web.
I mean, he's been known to target films, even the ones that are really bad, right? Sometimes.
Did you make a
but
Morbius video? Sorry.
What?
I mean, they're not even they barely scratched the surface, and they're not even fucking addressing anything he said. All they've said is, oh, you're saying a lot by not saying anything. Yeah, he is pretty much saying he didn't like the movie, but he's going into, god damn, these guys are frustrating.
we of course have everything wrong with, because of course, but I can't see in everything, all the wins one, you know, I don't see it. Damn, I guess Cinema Wins did not do Morbius. See, that's cowardly. Come on. You gotta get
That
in
is
there.
cowardly.
I would
You
love to
coward.
make that. That would be funny as fuck. You'd be like, you could do all the memes too. But whatever. Anyway, when you're about film celebration, you're familiar, because of course Chris is, with almost every aspect of film creation. There's got to be things in Madame Web you noticed that you can say, you know what, they did that pretty well. They did.
Because he doesn't want to discuss it. That's not what this video is about. Quit rewriting his video.
This pretty well. They did this. They did this. They did this. You could actually.
I mean, you know.
What's crazy is you could check out like quotes from the producers, even, or the director or the writers. You could see what they said about what they did with the movie.
Well, hell, you know, if you're struggling to fill up the runtime, you can do what Chris typically does, which is just name the writers and directors for no particular reason at all. Like
That's
with
like
no
a
intent.
free.
Name the writers and directors for no particular. You usually name writers and directors because they frequently they were a creative voice behind the piece, and so you name them to make sure they're getting credit, especially if you're doing a positive review. For fuck's sake, guys.
BB, 2 minutes right there.
Yeah, exactly.
No, but did he not with this one? At least in the place he usually does, right? Because right at the beginning he usually says this film was written by, directed by, at the beginning, but he didn't do that with this one.
this isn't a review.
Right.
So it's
You,
not
you haven't even gone into the video. You don't know. God, this is frustrating.
that
Which-
format. But if he did, he could.
Which doesn't at
and
all...
the thing is,
Go ahead.
yeah. No, go for it.
I was going to say, which doesn't at all put the idea in someone's head of why aren't you naming the people that were responsible for this?
Well,
Say their
who was
names.
responsible
Say their
for it, though?
names.
That's- Who is responsible for Madame Web? Who could know? It's not like it's in the film.
responsible.
At the end of the film, it doesn't say who is responsible for what given task. No, it's a mystery. It's
It is.
elusive.
Group justice.
Yeah, off to a good start.
In the film, I'm going to tell you that this is not a movie review of Madame Web. I am not about bashing filmmakers, artists. I know how.
What are you implying?
So this is where
Um,
I feel like a lot of people are not even listening to not only his video, but the clip that Lauren provided on Twitter. He's either a very bad speaker, or he just said something that's pretty blatant. I will not review the film because I am not into bashing filmmakers or creatives.
That's just bashing it. That's just with more words.
You're ignoring the greater context of the video that he's about ready to go into. For fuck's sake. If you actually watched the goddamn video, you'd know what he's going into. Fuck.
yeah, you're just saying if I did a review, it would be
It's,
full of all the terrible
it's
negative
more than
things
that,
that I
though.
would say.
It's on top of that, it's the implication that movie criticism as a practice in general is film bashing.
Exactly. Review equals bashing, which is interesting.
He didn't say that. These guys are insufferable.
Because if I was to rewrite his script for him, knowing what I know about him, I would have said, what you should say is, I know a lot of you might have expected some kind of hilariosity review, but as you know, for several years I've retired those, and I'm more about trying to find the films in the world that sort of...
Exactly, Taki. This is an editorial.
inspire, and that Madame Web didn't inspire me in any particular way. So instead of talking about the film, I wanted to talk about something that's happening in, like, the industry. That's what you could have said, but no, you said, I'm not going to review it because I don't want to bash it.
So he words it differently than you would have. He still words it very clearly. The implication was, essentially, I went to Madame Web, I didn't like it, and I want to discuss the studio system that went into creating a shitty movie like this. That was the entire implication of his goddamn video, which, I mean, I don't even know if you've gotten to that point because you can't watch it.
And
But
also,
I think
this
he's
is-
saying
yeah.
what I think he's saying without saying it is I'm better than you, better than you. No, I'm serious.
Well, I don't think he's saying I'm better than his audience, but for my personal opinion, he's better than everybody on the Efap crew right now. Easy.
To resist
It's like
the
I'm better than you
temptation.
because
I'm
Yeah.
not going to fall
because-
into what you know, the lesser people would want to do.
Yes.
Those hedonists.
yeah, he's
Yeah, who watches this shit? This is insufferably boring. Jesus Christ.
he's being, in my opinion, kind of an elitist prick. But like also, like,
He's being an elitist prick. You've watched like 30 seconds of the fucking video. Fuck.
it stirred a whole. And Mauler, I think I sent you a link to a story which I thought was awful about can movie critics be filmmakers. There are a
Right.
lot of critics who are filmmakers. I'm one of them. John Campea made a movie about a documentary about movie trailers. Stuckmann's made a movie. I think there's clips in one of the videos I sent you. Like,
Oh,
but
Robert
what
Meyer
he's saying
Burnett
is
as
like,
well.
I'm better than you. I'm better than you because I'm not going to do this. Also, I might end up working for a studio, so I don't want to say these things, which is
Yep.
sort of
He spends the video bashing the Sony studio system that made the movie. That's the primary goal of his video, is that Sony is not respecting their Spider-Man property and is making shit movies. Maybe, probably not the best move, if he's doing what you're implying and sucking up to studio systems.
I don't know. I think he's making his intentions pretty plain.
It makes
Well,
me
so-
feel like he's it's just I'm good and I'm better than you in a way that we would consider
I've
him lesser than
matured.
us.
These people are insufferable.
You know,
Because
I've matured.
I've
I've
grown.
grown.
I was like, I'm going to temper my
Oh.
opinions and decide what I am and am not going to cover because of my aspirations and who might be upset by that in terms of who I want to work.
He said that we've gone like 30 seconds of video, and these guys are just filling time, essentially pretending to understand what's going through his head. These guys want to argue, like the fans of you Efap fans. I know you're probably going to watch this video, especially if I cut this up, because, oh my god, I'm covering Efap. You guys will come in and be like, I'm bad faith. This is bad faith. This is the very goddamn essence of bad faith. They are putting words in his mouth non-stop during this thing. They're saying, you know, he's stuck up. He's elitist. He's sucking up to the studio system. He's saying people are bad for giving a bad review to Madame Web. Which are things that are absolutely not said and are not the topic of the video he makes whatsoever. So rather than actually address any issues he talks about in his video, they are just essentially setting up a straw man, Chris Stuckmann, for them to tear down and make fun of. Such bullshit.
Work for, which is like we all know it. Like that's what the game
Right.
is.
Yeah, but
You know,
well,
we
the
all
thing
know.
is that
He's going,
that's
no, I'm
obviously
good
what
because
it
of
is.
it.
Well, it's like, no, it's not. It's not the kind of person I want to be. And it's like, no, it's just you don't want to step on the wrong. You know, you don't want to step on anybody's toes, basically.
Yeah,
You wanna
if the
make sure
wizard
that you
visited
have
him and told him,
the
well,
whole-
He spends the whole video bashing Sony. Most of this video, the Chris Stuckmann video, is him bashing Sony. Just saying.
no one.
Good.
If you made a video on Madame Web giving your honest opinions, it will not affect any career aspirations that you have. And if he knew that and believed it, then he might do it. It might just be
Well,
about.
you-
I don't
you
know,
get
The reason that you
confused,
wasn't there
you
is
know?
because he's got to
Yeah,
keep it
okay.
consistent.
He doesn't bash he bashes the whole studio system. So if we're talking about not wanting to risk his career, what he actually does is way riskier for his career than just bashing Madame Web.
Right.
That's probably the only reason why not.
So yeah, that is the assumed motivation for many people. And by the way, before anyone assumes like, oh, you're just taking the worst route ever, this is the overwhelming majority of the opinion from his audience, is that he's trying to be careful so he can ingratiate himself into the...
This is insufferable. Let's see. I'm gonna maybe jump to a different part. This is ridiculous though. They're not even addressing the points he's making. He is just so full of shit. Let's see. Are they still covering it at this point?
With the Spider-Verse films, I see Lord and Miller
Completely
that have had
different film.
massive success on the big screen in the past that have made
Have you looked into what they've said? What if they said, it's a bit grueling because a lot of your choices get slapped down by the studio, but ultimately you still get to make something that people are inspired by? Like, what?
Lord and Miller are known names and get far more creative power. I guarantee you that. Lord and Miller have far more influence in the movies they make for Sony than S.J. Clarkson. This is not a one-to-one comparison.
What if they said...
And when Chris is making this comparison, he's not making it a one-to-one comparison. He's pointing out that Lord and Miller have a fair amount of control over those movies, and that's why they're so good.
something like that?
I wonder what his opinion is on the reported crunch on Across the Spider-Verse. Good old Chris Stuckmann. I wonder if he has an opinion on it.
Oh, I have an opinion on... I assume you're talking about how the animators were overworked. That was bullshit. While I thought the movie looked amazing, they did great work, how they were overworked was ridiculous and unjustifiable.
And whether or not they have any amount of responsibility for anything that would have been brought up relating to that.
of money for a
Director, potentially, but that's probably more a studio thing again.
a lot of people and have proven themselves to be very smart at what they do, and I can totally see a company like Sony saying, why don't you guys give us your best shot and then we'll give you some notes. Now, for a filmmaker like S.J. Clarkson, who made Madame Web, she's had a long and respectable career directing television, but she's directing her first movie, and it's a Sony superhero movie. When I saw Madame Web earlier today, there wasn't a single part of me that thought, wow, this is just a terrible filmmaker. I could not help.
They're really? Really?
Wait. You got to see how he finishes the sentence for that to make sense.
Okay.
A terrible filmmaker. I could not help but see the myriad of evidence that has been laid at all of our feet that this is a studio that is simply retaining the rights to their characters, that does not care about the quality of this experience they're giving us.
Sure, okay.
So there's nothing she could have done. Nothing she could have done.
No, I see Chris Gore left and Critical Drinker joined.
Present us with this myriad of evidence that's been laid at our feet.
Also,
You mean the product placement, the fact... Listen, you can actually, like, if you're familiar with movie making, you can kind of get a sense for shit like that. When there is a soulless movie that you're watching, or a soulless piece of art that you are looking into. Hey, I have a soulless piece of art right here. Boom. Soulless piece of art. It's art. It's technically art, but it is soulless. There isn't... This is just made by, like, a business. This is not made by somebody who had a cool story. Madame Web is very similar. It's not made... Like, S.J. Clarkson made a movie, but, like, Sony executives had their hands in it heavily. Like, they had their hands in Spider-Man 3. And keep in mind, Spider-Man 3 was directed by Sam Raimi. Sam Raimi was a fairly established director when that movie was made. If they're willing to fuck around with his movie, imagine what they're going to do with a first-time director like S.J. Clarkson. I would imagine that, like, saying that it's her movie is generous, to say the least.
Help us to see what you see, Chris.
Yes.
Help us.
Because also... They didn't set out to make a shit movie.
Nope.
Sony obviously wanted this movie to make a bit.
Oh my god. He's just out openly defending Sony right now. Sony wanted to make... Okay, let's see what this argument is, but it sounds like he's about ready to say, Sony just wanted to make a good movie, but S.J. Clarkson fucked it up. Let's see what Will Jordan says. Maybe I'm wrong.
$1 billion. They wanted it to be good. So they clearly did care about providing a good experience for the end user, the audience. They just weren't able to deliver it. Whose fault is that? Is it theirs, or is it the creatives?
Or is it both? Or
Why would they have meddled?
Yes, so that is his argument. His argument is Sony just wanted to make a good Madame Web movie, but the creatives fucked it up so that they didn't come out. Jesus fucking Christ. I'm sorry, all you fucking Efap fans, you Fandom Menace fans, all you guys coming into the channel and talking about how apparently they're anti-corporate. They're anti-fucking art. That's what this is. It's bare right there. They're anti-art. They're going to support the big corporations. That's why you saw during the strike, they were anti-writer and anti-actor during the strike. But they were they were like, they should just work for the money that's being offered to them because, there's not enough money being made. They were towing that corporate line without doing it directly. And now, like, that's almost direct what Will Jordan just said. Sony just wanted to make a good movie, but the creatives just didn't make a good one, unfortunately. Sony wanted a good one that would make money, but, creatives won't let them. Such bullshit. These guys are corporate fucking tools. They act like they're not, but they are. It's right there. And I'll say it again. These guys, fucking Gene Siskel glowy eyes, Fringy Homelander face. I don't know who some of these guys are. Mauler, Nerdrotic, Rags, Critical Drinker. Those would be the big ones I want to hit on anyway. Mauler, Nerdrotic, Rags, Critical Drinker. These guys, they are not anti-corporate like you guys like to sell. Like the EFAP fans and the Phantom Menace fans. These guys are not anti-corporate. They're anti-fucking art. I don't think I need to watch any more of this.
books, records, films, these things matter. Call me shallow. It's the fucking truth.